In this video we're going to develop our HTML knowledge by changing the background colour of our web page, then adding more visual effect by adding in images, and then lastly we're going to add in a table into our web page. So let's have a look at what we've got so far. This is some basic code. We've got the head of our web page. We're saying it's going to be in HTML. We've got a title and then we've closed the head. Then looking in the body of the web page, I've just got a center with font face open sans and I've asked it to be green, and I've just got the words Mr. Lucas and I've closed the font and closed the H1. So that's what we can see on the right here with Mr. Lucas, and then my second line where I've got a new paragraph, I've just got welcome to my website. So that's our starting point. Remember, we've closed the body and closed the HTML at the end. So it's really important that this closing the body and closing the HTML goes right at the end of the website. So I'm just going to bring that down and out the way. Now the first bit we're going to do is change the background color of our web page. And where we've got our body, I'm going to add a little bit of extra information in there. I'm just going to put BG. That stands for background. So body background color, so it's all one word and it is American spelling of the word color. So body background color equals, and then I can tell it whatever color I want my web page to be. So I'm here just asking for my web page to be black. Now remember, we click File, Save As, and we save it twice. We always save it twice, as we've done before. .html. It'll ask me, do I want to save over what's already there? I click Yes. And then again, I can save as .txt. So lesson 4.txt and click Save. So on my web page, all I now need to do is just refresh my page because I've saved it. We can see here at the top I've got my web page L4 and the text file I've just saved, lesson 4. So I'm just going to refresh my web page and we can see that my background has gone black. Now I had black writing in here which now cannot be seen. So I need to do something there just to show my writing again. So I'm going to go back to my line about the body. So body background color equals black. And I'm just going to put a space in here and just add in text equals whatever color I want my text to be. So I've now got white text on a black background. Again, I need to save in both formats as .txt and .html. I'll save my text file later, but I must remember to do that. So if I refresh my page, my writing is now white. Welcome to my website. So that's the information we've got so far. So that is creating a background color and just changing the color of the font to do exactly as I wish to do. The next stage for my website is to add an image in. So I've got my first section. I'm just now going to put in a new line. So what I'm going to do is first of all save an image into my documents. If we see up here, I've already got an image saved in my documents called Heron, and it is a JPG file, a JPEG file. Now it's really important that we know the spelling of our picture and we know the file format. That's really important. The other thing that's truly important is to make sure that the image is saved in the same folder that our website is saved. So I've got a new line in here, and what I've got is a new paragraph. Then I've got image source, which is img space src. So image source equals whatever my image is saved as. So in my documents I've saved it as heron.jpg, and that's what's written here, heron.jpg, and that's in speech marks. So img space src equals heron.jpg. Make sure you get the letters absolutely as it's written here. Whatever you save your file as needs to be here, and you might have a PNG, so it'll be .png, or it might be a GIF, which will be .gif. So make sure your file extension in your documents is exactly the same as written here. Again, I can save this as the text file and the .html file. and then refresh my web page, and if I've got my spellings right and everything right and it's referring to the picture that's in my documents, then when I refresh my page, my image should appear on my website, which is exactly as I want it, but it might not be the right size. So my next step is to resize my image. So I go back to my line of code, image source equals heron.jpg, and after the speech marks I'm just adding in a little bit more information. So first of all, I could tell it that I want the width to be width equals, in speech marks I've put 150, and then I can put in the height equals, and I can put in 200 as my height, so I can tell my image what size I wish it to be on my website. File, save as, and again save it as .html, and this time I am going to save it as .txt so I don't lose any of my work. Save as .txt and save. And now when I refresh my page, I'm refreshing the HTML file, it's resized my image to the dimensions that I asked for a height of 200 and a width of 150. So that is adding an image into my website. The next stage for me is to add a table into my work. So I'm going to first of all open up a table, and what I'm going to do, as well as opening up a table, I'm going to tell my table that I want the border of my table to be 1 pixel wide. So I've got a table border equals 1. Now what we need to understand is the fact that we can have table rows that go across, and table data is each individual piece of data within the table. So I'm going to start by opening up a new row. So inside my table I've got a new row, and that's what the TR is. After I close my row, at the end of my row I've got a close of the row. So I'm doing this within the row itself, in between the opening the table row and closing the table row. And now I'm going to put in a piece of table data, and I'm going to be creating a timetable, your school timetable. So I've got table data equals Monday, close the table data. So the first bit of information I have in my table is going to be Monday. I'm going to do the same for Tuesday and Wednesday. So I've now got table data for Tuesday and Wednesday, and then I'm closing the table row after that. So I've put this in the wrong place. All this information here, I'm just going to cut this, needs to go into my table row. So it's between the table row opening and table row closing. So all of that information is there. So that's my first row of my data. I'm just going to take out these lines so we can see more on the screen of what's going on. And now I'm going to add another row of data. So I'm opening a new row. So new row, and in there I've got a piece of table data called English and a piece of table data called Science, and then I'm closing my table row, and then at the end of that I need to close my table. So this is my website so far. Let me just refresh this by saving it first. File, save as. So saving the TXT file, and then I'm going to save the HTML file. .html, click save, and then I can just refresh my page, and here is my table so far. I can see that the first line has Monday, then Tuesday, then Wednesday. My second row of my table has English and Science. So what I'm looking for you to do is to build up this table with the rest of the days of the week, and then the rest of the subjects that you have period 1 each day, and then once you've completed that you can create a new row for period 2 of each day, and then once you've completed that you can complete the rest of your timetable for week A.